Hey, what's going on, guys? Today we are actually going to do a live walking tutorial. You might have met Ryan Wilson last night if you saw my stream from Jump Into the Light last night.
How's it going?
He's from thethreadfinder.com. We hired him to come in to Jump Into the Light and get some cool footage last night of my live stream. Did an awesome job. I've worked with him a few times in the past. But we were here editing some videos today. And he has very little experience with VR and loved being in the establishment last night and seeing the energy. And we were able to play around a little bit last night after I got off stream. And I think we won him into VR, won him over, but he has very little experience here. And while we're here, we thought it would be a great idea to get him on the machine for fun. And then I really wanted to take this as an opportunity to take someone who doesn't really know how to use the machine and to coach them along. I have a lot of requests on how this works, and so I really wanted to do a live training where we're going to put him on it for the first time and really just give him all the information he needs. It's really hard for me to always do this over text, so I thought this would be a perfect time to do a live stream of this. So anyway, I think you've had a little experience with Blade and Sorcery in the past.
Yeah, well, so, before, only VR I ever did was some cheap VR experiences that you do at like a mall or like on the headsets with the phone in it and you look around and get scared. So I never really played a serious game. And so Jake introduced me to some games yesterday, and Blade and Sorcery instantly won me over. I love it. It was so much fun. And when I was watching Jake play last night on the Contractors,
and which I didn't do so great at, so sorry about that, guys.
But it was still like so fun. So I wanted to try this experience in Blade and Sorcery because I enjoyed playing so much with just the controllers, and when I saw how Jake could move on the catwalk, I thought, yeah, that's definitely something I need to do. So I'm here to give it a shot live. Don't know how well I'll do. I'm no expert at any of this. So.
Yep. And so, I think the first thing I told him, and this is what I really wanted to get out there to everybody, is I want to set realistic expectations because I told Ryan, though I'm moving really well on this, obviously I'm a little bit more experienced. I had the shoe covers on, but it's not a natural walking experience, and I think that's the biggest issue. It's kind of like when a new movie comes out, right? And it's way overly hyped in terms of, everyone thinks it's going to be the most amazing movie. Then it sets these expectations that are hard to meet. Where I think that giving an accurate depiction of what this thing is not natural walking, guys. It's not a natural footstep, but it's a really cool machine that offers a vehicle of movement in VR. It is something that once you figure it out, just like snowboarding or learning to swing a golf club for the first time, it feels a little bit strange at first, but very quickly your body remembers that movement and it becomes a natural feeling to you. And so for spectators, I understand that it looks a little bit goofy. Absolutely. I understand from a spectator's point of view, but in headset, it feels very normal and natural to me. That is my movement in VR. And so I think that's what I want to, relay to Ryan is starting with this is first I'm going to start him off in his socks because, he's just got his socks on. And I think that's important because when you put the shoe covers on, you really slide around a little bit. Right. It's a different experience. And so I think that having just your socks really helps ground you and make you feel more stable. Okay. And then you can actually, once you get comfortable, you can incorporate putting the shoe covers on so you can get that sliding motion a little bit better. Which does feel like more of a natural footstep. Once again, not a natural footstep, but it does give you a little different motion. And so it's really all about finding your rhythm, guys. Whether it's short footsteps or big footsteps, which I think that's one thing I really want to reiterate to you is don't focus on it being a natural walking motion. It's basically a giant touchpad is what this is. So since you've played with this, you know the premise of a touchpad. Yeah. It's basically looking for you to constantly make that movement. It's timing. Right. Whether it's short steps or big steps, it's really all about finding the right timing to where you're constantly having this motion, putting this foot down and moving it as this foot's landing. Right. So it's looking for that wheel of movement.
Yeah, I noticed last night because there was two machines there. So some other people, while Jake was on one machine, some other people were coming in and using the second machine, and there are like a girl and her boyfriend and another guy. They all totally inexperienced, and they all had a different method of getting to the point where they were moving through the game. And so it made me realize when I was watching them, I was like, oh, okay, so you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have this perfect walking style. It's more about finding the thing that moves you along.
Exactly.
And I could tell with the ones who tried too hard with the walking, they weren't getting it. They weren't, like they were overthinking it.
And I think that's, I think that's a very accurate observation, in terms of, I think people think too hard about it. You got to trust the machine, lean forward. I mean, of course, you can stand stiff if you want and drag your foot back and forth, but you just got to trust the machine, lean forward, and don't overthink the walking. It's a giant touchpad. Just lean forward, move your foot, and the player moves. I mean, there's nothing cooler than that. Being able to be in a game and have your player move with you, when you're actually moving. I mean, that's another level of immersion. So whether or not it's a moving treadmill underneath you or not, I mean, it's something that's new to the market. That's an experience that could not be done before. That's possible now, and it's just a really cool feeling. And my goal is to get Ryan good at this, where at least he's comfortable.
Right.
It does take time to get good with anything. Just like I used the golfing analogy before, you're not going to be, once you're comfortable with it, doesn't mean you're going to be good. So I just really wanted to get him comfortable with the machine.
Right. So the thing you keep talking about, the walking, and that's exciting. But the thing that was most exciting for me last night when I was filming you is the turning.
Right.
Like this was because we played after he was on the treadmill. We played in the middle of a very big room with just headsets and controllers, and it was actually really exciting because it was a wireless headset, so you could really move around, which people would think, oh, well, that's perfect. I'm moving in real space, in real time, in real walking. But you still, like in Blade and Sorcery, in these games, you want to whip around, you're going to lose your balance, or you're going to run into something. I fell down twice. I ran into a wall. I ran right into a wall at this place. Almost broke their.
We had him on an Oculus Quest playing super hot, and he was walking into things for sure.
Right, because the other guys did okay, but still they were trying to move all around the room. Who has that amount of space? So for me, when I think about this, I'm thinking like I really want this in Blade and Sorcery when you're fighting. You really want to like whip around and get people, right? So this seems super cool for that. So that's what I'm excited about.
Yeah, I mean it confines you to a 4-foot footprint,
right?
Where it offers you support.
Yeah.
Regardless of just keeping you in this space, it just makes sure you're upright, just like you said. It makes you feel comfortable doing those quick motions.
Right. I'm not going to tell because when you can't see things around you and you spin fast, that there's always going to be a sense of self-preservation in your head.
Right.
Like you don't want to smack into something.
Yeah. It's like completely puts you into your safe zone.
Right.
And
cool.
And so why don't we get started? I'll show you how to load up. Okay. I mean, you did see me do it yesterday, but we never gave you the official walkthrough of how it works. And
right.
And so let's go through all of that.
Well, I'm not going to assume anything. I'm going to ask you to make sure everything's done right. So
right.
I'm not just from watching you. I'm not going to assume that.
Okay. So what we're going to do here is first, I always like to lock it, so we're going to lock it here for you. I want you to step up.
Right, just
step in and turn around.
Okay. Is there, like, I see a sticker here that says hold here.
So when you're wearing a shoe cover specifically, because it's slippery, it's nice to support yourself. And if this is locked in, you're not going to get any movement out of this. So it helps if you can grab onto this when you're walking on. Okay. It really just makes you feel a little bit more comfortable as you walk in.
But it's not like you're gonna. This is not so slippery that you're gonna just.
Yeah, especially when you're in socks, you're fine. You can see, you can move around and feel comfortable, which is kind of the point of why we don't want you in shoe covers right out of the gate. Is we want you comfortable feeling grounded right now. Now you have the stability of using this.
Okay, so belt first, or?
So we're going to put the belt on first. What I want to point out to you is I personally like it so this piece right here is right at my belly button. And the reason for that is that I feel like I get better movement. I think this is a personal call, what feels comfortable for you. And so you can go higher, which will hold you more to the treadmill, which will give you a little bit more support if you're not comfortable.
I see.
So you get more support so you can feel comfortable leaning forward.
But it'd be harder to bend over.
It would be harder to bend over, so it's less functional to do it this way. But for those beginning users that don't trust the machine yet, it does
up here on the.
Exactly. So it supports you from here, so you can lean forward. So for those of you who don't trust the machine at first, you can definitely go higher. But personally, where you want it to be is, and I'll show you. There's a button right here actually that allows you to lower it. Make sure that you hold it underneath because you don't want your fingers to get caught in the track here. So we're going to go down to...
Oh yeah, that's right there. That's good. Now,
now it's like right about your belly
my
button.
belly button's like right under the top.
Okay, so right about here. And sometimes I'll even go a little bit lower. I do have a stomach, so for me I like it low, but I think that this, for your average person, is where you really want it.
Yeah, this feels, it's very secure, but I have upper body movement going.
Okay, so we're leaving it locked right now, very purposefully. Right now we want to also get the safety belt in. It's a good point to mention that this is just Velcro. In playing a game like Blade and Sorcery, you're going to be jumping really, you're going to be bending and pushing. You don't want to bust through the Velcro and fly off the machine. So the safety belt's important. Make sure it's nice and tight.
All right.
Okay? And it's also good to mention that we've removed the leg straps. I think you've seen a couple pictures.
I saw the photo, so that still exists on the machine, you just don't use it.
Absolutely. So the machine will come with the leg straps. We don't use them personally here because I feel like myself, I can achieve the same motion. It really only offers a seat.
Right.
You use it for a seat. So if you want to be supported weight-wise, you can use the leg straps as you sit. It'll pull the flap under you and support your weight.
So if you're going to be sitting for a long time, maybe like play a card game or something?
Exactly. So you can play a card game. It would make sense there. But I actually like having the freedom of not using it and just having the waist strap because I feel that when I need to sit, I can still achieve that same motion without it. And it's just one less step to get on to use the treadmill.
Well, I definitely will not be sitting in Blade and Sorcery.
You will do no sitting there, sir. Okay, so now you are loaded up. Let's get you going. So what I usually like to do, and I'm going to let you do this. I want you to reach behind and grab the headset. We have these hooks here, so it's a great place to hang things. So I want you to put this on your forehead. Don't put it over your face yet.
Okay.
So just rest it on your head. So now you have it comfortable.
Like a Ready Player One poster. I got it.
Yeah. So let's get you adjusted.
Oh wait, but my glasses. Okay, yeah.
And so, as a matter of fact, it's at this point it's really usually up to your preference. Some people want to grab the controllers first. Some people want to put the headset on. But I think actually for ease, maybe we will put this on, and I want to show you how to do it in headset because it's so easy with learning where the hooks are behind you.
Right. So put the headset
so
on.
you can actually put the headset on.
So let me sit a little bit more. All right. All right. So I'm already in the game. Okay.
Okay. So yeah, I did open the game before we went on the stream, so you didn't have to go through that part. Okay. So usually we click your ears in, but since I'm talking, let's just leave those off for 1 second. Okay. We can easily put those back on. So let's reach to your left and right hooks, one at a time.
So it's just, it's a perfect.
So you just reach behind you.
Right. Do they go up and down with the back?
So actually, yes. So that's a great point. So it will stay still. The hooks actually will stay on the rod itself.
Right.
Okay, and so you have one in.
Yeah.
Now you can have the freedom to, and if you put it around your wrist, you can actually drop it if needed, so you can have the freedom of your hand.
Right. So, because if you're doing this machine by yourself, which most people would be, unless they're in an amusement center, then you want that I have to unlock myself, right?
Correct. So you would unlock yourself. So what I usually would do is one thing you didn't do, which I'll help you with, is just tighten this to your wrist. And so usually I do that as I go, and I should have instructed you, so that's my fault. I apologize for that. Okay, so why don't you let this one drop?
Okay.
Okay, now you can unlock yourself. Now you're all ready to go.
And the lock is, yeah, nicely placed, actually, these things.
So you can just lift it up.
I got it.
Okay. And now you can...
That's what I wanted.
So let me ask you this. Before me coaching you, I'm just wondering from a new user, what's your questions before you get in the game?
Well, it's hard to say. So this is not...
And you guys can't see what he's seeing yet, but in a second we're going to click over to the gameplay.
So this is not, like, slippery. So, you know, I think when I watch you, I feel like surface is going to be very slick. So, it's not like I'm afraid. I feel like I'm not going to be afraid of falling down, and that's something I saw last night. I think a lot of people might worry your legs will slide out from under you, and so it's not that. So you were saying in this, I need to be able to lean forward. You were giving me the advice before that I should trust it, right?
So, and just out of curiosity, let's see you lean forward and put your feet back a little bit.
All right. Oh, Jesus, yeah. It takes trust. It takes trust.
It feels funny. You feel like you're gonna, like you could face plant, but it's actually. I'm assuming that you feel that you're secured to the back.
Yeah. No, it's definitely.
You're not going anywhere.
My character looks like he's popping a squat. But.
Yeah. Okay, so you can see you can trust it, and so that I think is kind of a decent angle to just remember mentally, because as you're moving your feet,
so
you're going to want to be able to create a more. Once again, when I say the word natural, I want to make sure that you guys understand that I'm not referring to a natural footstep, but it will feel more natural to be able to lean forward into your steps.
Should I practice walking, or should I just get right into it, or?
Well, let me see how you move first.
Like just try.
Just see how you naturally move on this machine.
So it's
a giant,
back, right?
It's a giant touchpad.
Yeah. Like this?
That's actually pretty good. So I've seen some people that don't even move that. That's a whole motion. So it's actually registering. You're pulling yourself forward.
Right. And
you can see how right now you can do this if you want to do something without that much effort. It will still create movement, but it is a little stiff with standing straight up.
I did see last night, like that girl who got on, she was just trying to do this, like move the foot up and then move it back.
Right.
And this, because you feel it doesn't feel super slippery, so I think you feel like, oh, it's not, my foot's not going to slide, but yeah, it does. It slides pretty nice, especially with socks, I guess.
Right. Right. And I think that's a great point, is that we've actually removed the ability to just touch the tip, because the point is supposed to walk, right?
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, it used to do a side-to-side strafing. We specifically got rid of that because the whole point of this is it's a walking machine. We don't want it to be a giant touchpad where you're just putting your foot somewhere. You got to move.
Right.
It's all about immersion and being a little more realistic.
And turning on the balls of your feet, it's a turning play. That's nice.
Yep. You can easily, and you're supported from the back, so you can get a nice fluid motion in there.
Makes a horrible noise on my feet. That's not me, guys. I didn't.
Yeah, sure.
I don't have gas.
He ate Mexican last night, guys.
So I'm not in the game. I'm just standing here. Is it not activated, or?
So let's see.
Can I walk around this room and get a little?
Yes.
sample?
Yes. So I'll tell you what, and I'm going to click you guys over in 1 second so you can see what he's seeing. But I just want to make sure that he's got his motion down a little bit. So let's see.
So is that walking? Is this what I should be doing? Just this, like? Because when you do it, I notice it's much more forward momentum. So should I be leaning?
So let's try that actually, because you can do it like this in the beginning, like he just showed you. It's very stiff. It's the basic way just to learn how to use the machine. But once you want to get some more realistic movement in, and some more fast-paced movement in, lean forward. Try leaning forward a little bit.
All right.
Now trust the machine.
Yeah.
Now move your feet kind of like you just were.
But with my knees bent, yeah, it's different. It's different. I'm more on the front balls of my feet instead of.
Now try to get faster motion. Let's try. You gotta trust it. You gotta trust it, man. You're not going anywhere. I'll catch you if you fall. So you can see. There you go. You actually have a pretty good rhythm there. And so just to show. Now try doing smaller footstep. If you wanted to relax a little bit more.
It's like a sneak. Like I feel like you could do it in a very like you're sneaking around. You know?
Yep.
That's comfortable. That's pretty comfortable for me. This motion. This I think like you take some pretty big footsteps. I noticed.
Right.
Because you really get into it. So like this to me feels a little jostling.
Right.
Maybe like this, would that work?
Yeah, that would work fine. So it's all about what's comfortable for you. You know, that's just the way my body's configured. You know, I lean forward, I get into it like that, but you can definitely do it without that.
This seems awesome for me, actually, this one. I'll see when I'm moving around, but
Right.
the feeling is okay.
So let's just click you in before we show everybody. I just wanted to look, make sure everything's working properly here. So let's walk to the other side of that wall.
Okay, we're in.
Okay, I'm gonna click everybody over. All right, guys, I'm going to mute my mic over here. I'm gonna let Ryan take over from here. So I want this to be unfiltered. So I'm gonna let him go into the game. I'm gonna coach him from the side, but I'm turning my mic off. I want this to be his experience. And so,
Jake, wait, I'm not. Okay.
So what I'm gonna tell you, Ryan, before I get off in this game specifically, look to the right. Look to the right.
Look to the right.
You see that table?
Yeah.
That's the table where you're gonna enter whatever level you want to go fight people.
Okay.
All right, and so let's put you over so everyone can see what's going on here.
Wow. Do I need to calibrate? I think I need to calibrate.
Yeah, so
You told me this yesterday when it wasn't working for the other thing because I'm kind of floating
so
here.
to calibrate, click the system button, which is the big button under the touchpad.
Under, okay.
Now look forward. You see this calibrate button?
Yeah.
So it's very important that you stand straight up,
Yep.
look forward.
Yep.
It's calibrating the angle of the treadmill, so it thinks that wherever way that the treadmill is facing is straight.
Okay.
So if you're sideways and the treadmill is not the same angle, it's going to be skewed.
Right.
Okay, so now hit the calibrate. I know you guys can't see it at home, but when you click the system button, which is the circular button under the touchpad, it will calibrate.
No. Okay. There is some drift here.
So
I'm
I think you're stuck on the barrel.
I'm stuck in a barrel. My hand is in a barrel. I guess I want to drink.
Okay, so you know what? Let's look at the back motion. Let's try to see if we can back out. Put 1 foot.
So I should turn around?
Yeah, turn around. Put 1 foot behind you.
Yeah. No, I think it's stuck.
Yeah, I think you're stuck in the barrel. So, you know what, guys? If anyone who plays VR knows that there are a lot of glitches in some of these newer games. Blade and Sorcery is a fun game, but it is glitchy. And so, you know, unfortunately, we might have to restart the game on this one. Not ideal, but so you cannot walk out of that, huh?
No, my arm is become part of the barrel, so now it's eating me.
Okay. Not ideal, but we'll start Blade and Sorcery.
Is that mic still on? Jake?
Okay. You have to turn the other way, actually. You have to turn the other way. All right. So now this is your character.
Yeah.
So that's Ryan.
Can I pick someone who's a little less goofy looking, or?
You can if you want.
No, that's all right.
If you want to be somebody else for the day,
I can. It's okay. He looks properly dumb enough to be a good fighter.
It looks like you in your prime.
Yeah.
All right. Hit select.
Okay.
There you go. And play.
All right.
All right. There you are. There you go. Check out the tracking.
Yeah.
Let's do some funny moves here. It's actually pretty good tracking.
All right.
All right. The walking is working. Perfect. Now let's calibrate it before we get going.
Yeah, I think it needs to
stand straight.
All right.
Look up.
The other thing is this touchpad still works, right, on the left. So I have to keep my finger away.
Correct.
From it. Right.
And so basically, guys, this is a left controller. All right. This giant pad right here, this giant base, is a giant left touchpad. So it's basically feeding off of the control. So it is possible for you to use the control if you want. So you have to watch out with your thumbs. You do not want to hit the touchpad. It will throw it off. I'm actually working on something to cover that up. We can rest your thumb on it without it affecting the treadmill. So it basically takes it out of action. You can't deactivate it specifically because if you deactivate the left touchpad, then it actually will deactivate the treadmill too.
Houston, we have a problem.
What's going on now?
The wood is eating me again.
What is going? I think. You stuck in the wall?
Yeah.
All right, guys. I would like to say that this is a Blade and Sorcery issue, not a Catwalk Mini issue.
I feel this yesterday. Any problems seem to be mostly game problems. Yeah, this is freaky. Look at this. I'm stabbing.
Yeah, you are in the wall right now.
I'm in the wall, and I can stab through my own hand with my armor. Oh, that
doesn't look good, man.
Yeah, I think I should get that checked out.
Consult your physician.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, okay. I think we might have to switch off Blade and Sorcery.
Oh, no, we have to play something else?
I would like to play this.
I could try the one you were playing last night, too.
You know, do you want to try one more time? Maybe stay away from that wall till we get in game?
No, because this happened twice. Maybe it just waste your time. We can do contractors if you want. That's cool. I like that one too.
I'll tell you what. Let's play standout.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool.
Battle Royale.
I feel like that takes a lot longer to get into, though. For people watching, maybe not as exciting.
Let's see.
Maybe a little easier, though. Contractors is...
Yeah, it might be more difficult for you to learn contractors. More involved.
Right. It's up to you. You can put on something. I just want to walk somewhere. So, pick the most stable game.
Well, actually, this is the perfect.
Oh, cool. So this is like the test room, training room, so I can just walk around and check it out. All right. Oh, cool. Oh, yeah, this works way better than Blade Sorcery for walking. Yeah. Wow, nice. Oh, my God. Oh, right to the wall. Man. So, this is pretty amazing because this feels solid. Like, in this game, I feel when I walk, I'm really making contact with the ground. Blade and Sorcery felt floaty. Oh, man. Super cool. Hmm? Run in and turn? Like turn? Oh, Jesus, that's crazy. That feels nuts the first time. Okay, so you let me play this a little bit yesterday with the controllers, and so I think I know, but can you refresh me here? I think
so what you're gonna want to do.
I got to take my
hit
gun.
the grips on the side of your controller.
Right.
Okay.
And then I got to cock it.
Grab that. Actually, let me show you how to reload.
Oh, right.
Let go.
Uh huh.
You're gonna want to hit the button above the touchpad.
Right.
If you click that, it should drop the clip.
Oh, on the other side. Oh, nice.
Grab below using your trigger. Grab the ammo. There you go.
Uh huh.
Now stick it in the slot.
right? Okay, cool. Now, I want everyone to know I'm not going to be great at this. This is not really the kind of game I play, and it's pretty intense. So, this is more for me to just have fun running around somewhere. All right.
So how do you feel your feet was?
I already feel pretty good at it. I was thinking when I watched those people last night, I kind of felt maybe it would be a little harder, but it's not.
Just try taking smaller. Show us a couple different ways to move.
All right. Well, right now I feel most comfortable with this little sneaky half bent feeling. That's pretty good. I guess let me try some bigger steps. Whoa. Okay. Yeah, that's good. It's a little hard for me to control. I guess stiff. This will get you around, I guess, if you just want to move small.
Now, I see that you already kind of found a rhythm. I see old natural movement.
Uh-huh.
Try moving a little quicker and keeping it moving without any delay. See if you can
Okay.
do that. Here you go.
Hmm?
The game will naturally slow you down when you lift your gun up.
Right. So if I lift the gun, then it goes choppy, I noticed. So if I keep it down, it goes smooth.
Which is built into the game. It
Okay.
goes slower when you're aiming.
All right. Let's try it. People don't want to see me running around forever. Let's see what happens.
Okay, so if you hit this button, look at your wrist. Hit your left wrist.
Okay.
Let's see. Okay, now hit
Oops.
on your left controller.
Hit the which button?
Above the touchpad.
Okay. I see. Yeah.
Now let's do a. You want to play online or you want to do a
No, just play some bots, some easy bots.
free roam?
Yeah.
Okay, let's keep it easy. Let's change it to downtown setting.
Okay.
Map downtown.
All right. Downtown.
And hit deploy.
Deploy. Oh man. Well,
It's next level, isn't it?
it is. I feel a little nervous because it's so real. All right. Oh man, it's so cool to run in such an open space. This is what I wanted. This is what I wanted about Blade and Sorcery, to be able to just cruise around like this. I just like swinging a sword more than shooting a gun. Oh God.
What it is you're actually doing with your feet?
Whoa. Uh-oh. Back up. I just lean back. Oh. So I just move 1 foot back. Okay. So, I mean, this, to me, for the feet, Jake just asked me, can I explain what I'm doing? It feels kind of like I said, a little bit of a sneak, but also when you're skateboarding, how you push on the ground, that motion, you're carrying through, you're following through. And the thing about rhythm is what really got me moving, I think, when he explained it needs to be rhythmic. Let me try here. I killed 3 dudes, though. Now, mostly my experience with these games is PUBG, where you're hunting slowly. This seems way more intense. Oh, I didn't cock it. Oh, man, what the... Oh, sorry, Winston. Let me back up. Okay. Oh, I get it. Back up. So back up is more gliding. Okay. All right. Ah, shit. No, dead. Okay. Reloading, that's the trick. For someone who's not fast at this, I think the reloading is going to be hard. Oh, I didn't cock it.
I noticed the game they had people playing the first time last night. You don't have to do any reloading or... Where are you guys? Now, I don't know how I look. I'm sure I look not so great at this, but it feels super fun. Like, this is what I wanted, is the feeling of it, not necessarily the look cool. Yeah, I mean, I saw articles, and of course I saw Ready... Ah, damn it. I dropped my clip right as he came. I saw Ready Player One, of course, and I saw some information about them, but oh, I have no head. Where's my head? That's not right.
What's cool is this definitely takes you into the game. You know, VR is games coming out, they're getting better and better. The content, the graphics are getting great. So this definitely
Oh, I can crouch down? That is so cool. No, that's not what I want. How do I eject this again? Oh shit, okay, nah. I got it. This one. Crouching down, man, that's super cool.
And if you lean kind of back into it as you go down,
Yeah.
it will let you go a little deeper.
Oh my god, going down the steps. Nice one, George. Out of here! Ah, shit. Taking corners gets definitely, you gotta get used to that. That is not easy to trust it enough to run and turn. Because I'd see that's nice. So again, I feel really cool in this. Like I feel like I'm badass blowing these guys away. I'm sure I look a little silly. Oh, that guy just fell through the ground. But the feeling is way cooler than when you had me playing with the controllers yesterday. Back up. Ah, shit. Alright, can you give me some advice on backing up? I'm not comfortable with that. Uh-huh. Yeah. Right. Turn and running, okay. Man, I never have a head. This is maybe why I'm not so good. Oh, hey, sorry Arnold, I almost took you out. I love the reloading though. I love this idea. It feels really yeah, it feels way more intense. Okay, now I need that reload now. Don't let go. The letting go is... Oh, not a knife. Uh-oh. Okay, 1 second. Well, this is a good beginner's tutorial for the game and the treadmill. Alright, I have to put the gun down to use the grenade, right? Okay. And I can just hang it on my belt, right? Yeah, okay. Oh, I drop a grenade. Oh, and I'm getting hit. Where is he? Oh, I got it. Oh no, how do I... Boom. It didn't hurt any of them. Just me. Yeah. Crouching down. Okay. Like now or in the game to pick up? Okay. Don't ever show me this video. I don't know if I want to see how poorly I did. Whoa. Poorly I did from outside. I just want to get throwing a grenade right. Okay, I got it. Alright. Alright, so crouching down, like, right. Where? Where? Who's shooting at you, Nolan? Where are they? Okay. Man. I'll get the hang of the reloading eventually. Not if I drop. Oh, so now I can pick it up? Oh. Maybe. No, instead, my equipment fell off. So... Oh, wait. That's alright. Alright. Good. I'd say my biggest problem is, it's probably just, this is experience, is escaping a situation. Maybe I feel, because it's, you gotta, maybe when you're using a pad, it's easier to adjust everything. So here you gotta turn and get out of there. You can't just right, left, back up. Right. So it is, you definitely need to get really, if you want, I mean, this is a thing too, this is super fun. I don't even care that I keep dying. But if you really want to get competitive, I guess you really have to work on the turn and moving at the same time. This is a really, right, of course. Alright, yeah, does it seem like I'm doing alright? Well, I was analyzing how everyone was using it last night, honestly. Really? Okay. Alright, let's try that. So hang up the controls. Alright. Okay, so hang up the controls, take off the mask next. Oh my god, it's so somehow because I was moving, I got way more immersed than last time. Last time when I took it off, I was like, yeah, I'm still at this place. If I just take that off now, that's intense.
Okay, so you also can lock. I know. I didn't coach you on this, but when you're getting out, you can also right here, guys. You can actually lock the treadmill. That way, you can grab onto it as you're loading. There's a step right here as well. which I'll show you.
So
There is an actual step to load in. So I know last night the one thing that you did mention to me when you were playing in just a headset, because you were pretty new to VR, is that you felt like you almost had some motion sickness.
Yeah, well, I mean, dizziness, definitely, because you're moving without moving. So I don't think the human brain revolts against this, right? So
Right.
this is why people get sick when they play VR.
Yeah.
So after we played, because we played quite a while at the end, and we stopped, I felt dizzy.
Right.
I felt a little uneasy.
Would you say that this makes it better or worse?
I feel totally fine right now. So I guess, how long, I don't know how long that was, like 10 minutes?
10 minutes, about 10 minutes.
So yeah, I mean.
I would, personally, and I like to ask everybody, because look, everybody's body is a little bit different.
Right.
Everybody responds differently, but in my opinion, the fact that when your feet are moving, that you're moving,
Right.
it helps your body understand that you're supposed to be going in that direction.
This makes total sense. This is why you don't get sick when you drive a car, but you
Right.
get sick when you're a passenger.
Right.
Because when you're driving, you're responsible for the movement. Your body can understand that.
Right.
When you're riding, you're flying through space
Right.
with no reason. Your
Yeah.
body doesn't get it.
Yeah.
So I could totally see this doing that, and that would be amazing because I'm kind of tired of that holding VR back.
Right.
I feel like people are always like, VR will never catch on because people get sick and blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah.
Yeah.
And it would be cool if they found a way to stop that.
I think that this is just the first phase of how these things are going to change VR. I think that these will keep evolving. And I think that this right now is a great solution to eliminate for most people that feeling.
Right.
Everyone's different, as I said, but for the most part, that's the one common thing that I hear is that this really eliminates that dizziness and that sick feeling.
Right. For me, because last night, even though I was a little dizzy and stuff, it wasn't, for me, I don't get motion sick usually. So that wasn't the thing. I quite enjoyed last night, but I just feel like when I ran into the wall and when I fell over, not only do I look ridiculous in front of all these pro VR guys, but it makes me then hesitant to really want to play, to really want to go for it. Because after I ran into the wall when we were playing Super Hot, which was such a cool game, but then everything I kind of questioned, can I reach out here? And then it takes away from the game experience.
You started hesitating to do everything.
Like when I'm in a game or when I'm in an experience, even when I'm in a 3D movie, I want to be able to get lost on that, right?
Right.
That's the purpose of it.
Yeah.
So if you're questioning the world outside it, then
it alters your gameplay, absolutely.
Right. So for like this, I imagine some people's problems might be also when they first use it, they're questioning the world outside because they're like, okay, am I walking right? Is this right? So but by the end, other than the turning to run, I felt.
So let me ask you this, because the one thing that is pretty common is people can obviously notice that this is not a natural footstep. Which obviously it's not. You're walking on a stationary base here.
Right.
But so from seeing me use it yesterday and how it looks versus now being in headset and playing with it, what was your experience in headset, in game, when you're lost in the game in terms of feeling that movement and how it felt for your body?
Right. So this is why I was getting nervous because I liked Blade and Sorcery so much when we played it before. And then when I was in that, the movement felt a little drifty because the game, I think, is not programmed well for this. This, as soon as you put me in this, it didn't matter that I was sliding. It felt like I was walking confidently through space. That's why as soon as you put me in, I was like, whoa, this is way different.
Right.
Because, so I'm assuming it's game by game for some things, but whatever the game is, though, I imagine once you do it a little, that's fine because that's your experience in that game.
And I agree, and I would say for those of you who do play VR, just to address it, is that if you play Blade and Sorcery in general, it is a bit glitchy, whereas Contractors is a little bit more polished. And so I think that there are a couple games. I mean, everybody out there that plays VR knows that there's a handful of really cool games that are kind of in the beta stages, and they're released and working and functioning. But even the developers acknowledge the fact that it's early stage of release where there's lots of bugs. And so you've seen me play Blade and Sorcery. I'm able to use it for the most part. It is a little bit different experience because there is in-game glitches, and it does throw you off a little bit. Cool game, but I think contractors...
But the thing is, though, now that what I was trying to say is, even if Blade and Sorcery, the walking was different, that's fine. It's like when you play any console game, right? The movement in every game is different. You get used to it. That's the beauty of it. You have to get comfortable with that game, and then you can be awesome at it.
Absolutely.
So this is a controller, right?
Exactly. It's getting comfortable with the controller.
I mean, it's called the VR Treadmill, which is I kind of don't really like that word.
You know, that's common too. You're absolutely right. I think for ease, it's called the VR Treadmill just because that's what people assume the Omnis are.
Right.
It's not a treadmill, obviously. It's a walking machine.
It's a controller. It's a
controller.
A full body controller.
Right.
That's really what it should be called.
Right.
I mean, it's silly because you're not trying to walk like you're walking in real life. You're trying to move in this game in a way that makes you feel excited and move through this world.
Right.
And that's what I wish I Blade and Sorcery could have been figured out, because I'd like to see what it feels like in that completely when you're fighting. But in this, that was way cooler than last night.
Right.
Using with the controllers, because that's kind of like you're just like a ghost, almost like.
It's
like through, I don't know.
So for me, one of the coolest things about VR is the fact of that fully immersed feeling where you are in an environment, you are the player, and I think that by pushing a button, because look how realistic it's made to be, to have to drop the clip, put it in to do this, so then to push a button to go left and right, it seems kind of off, doesn't it? So I mean, now that you're moving and it's moving where you're telling it to by your feet movements. By the position of where you're putting it in the direction, that's pretty cool, and I think that's almost necessary.
This is really interesting because, of course we can adapt to that. We've played games, I'm a little bit older than Jake, and
We won't disclose his age.
I had the first Atari when it came out, and it's a joystick and a button, right? But you play it long enough and you get lost in that world, even though it's simple graphics, and then Nintendo and the first Nintendo, you get used to whatever the controller is. You could be excited, you could have a lot of fun, as we do playing all games, but I imagine, if I played this more, I would have a better idea of this, but I imagine we have hundreds of thousands of years of evolution telling us to move, we use our legs. Right, from animals to dinosaurs, or whatever.
It's hard-coded in our DNA.
So when you're moving your legs, it doesn't matter what the machine is, but if you're moving your legs and you even have a gait, your arms are moving forward, that's going to tell your body this is more real, even if the step is not the same.
Absolutely.
Right. That makes way more sense.
I mean, it makes so much sense for VR in general for that level of immersion. I think that's my biggest thing is it's what was missing.
Right.
And the fact that you can do it now is so cool. And I agree that there are things that come along. I've told you guys on stream before, one of the things that's actually more difficult with the machine, because of the realness factor, is, for instance, aiming down a scope.
Right.
When you're pushing a button, you can go left and right easily, up and down. When you're walking, it doesn't change the direction of your aimer. But in real life, imagine holding a gun and aiming it as you're walking, there's bounce. Now you have that bounce. And so in some ways, it is harder, but it makes it more realistic. And so I think even you said escaping a situation on this is more difficult.
Right.
Simply because it's more realistic. Right. You can't push a button and quickly jump sideways, like that. You don't just get to go sideways while you're shooting out of a situation as easy, which in real life is not going to be an easy situation either. You have to turn. The guy comes at you with a gun. You're probably going to pop a couple rounds, maybe, if you have a gun and you're in a gunfight. And if you're not winning the situation, you're going to turn and try to get the hell out of there. Right. And so I think what's great is it does bring that realness factor, and it also creates a different strategy for who's the good players and who's not, because who's going to be better and more strategic at how to actually evade a situation on foot. So I want to try now with the shoe covers. So he looks pretty comfortable with the socks. which I recommend for anybody doing this for the first time. Do it with your socks. Get comfortable with the machine. Now this is going to be more difficult for you. There is definitely a little bit more of a learning curve. With these, you are going to slide a little bit. Sometimes you can actually lubricate the treadmill, which we do from time to time. I am not going to do that today because I think that's going to be too difficult for you. I don't want you trying to understand how to really use it when it's slippery. So I'm not putting any lubricant on the machine. I made sure to wipe it down really well so it would not be lubricated at all. Now he's going to put on shoe covers, and we're going to try to train him how to use this. Now, I don't expect you to completely get this on this video, but it's something that becomes very natural feeling to you once you're comfortable with it. And I think that you're going to be able to achieve a natural movement, not natural movement, but I think you're going to be able to achieve a good comfortable movement.
Okay.
But it definitely takes more practice.
All right. So these shoes here?
So let's show everybody what we're doing here. So these are actually my own custom prototypes. They're not available yet. This is going to be the one that is coming in. Of course, we're going to put our logos on it and all that. That's all getting finalized. But it will be in production very shortly and available, which I feel are better than the ones that are currently available on the market because of stability. Because you have four, and this one actually got pulled to the side, but because you have four pieces here, it actually creates a sturdier platform to step on rather than having just a couple going across. Also, you have this big, thick piece right here that sits not all the way on your heel, but forward a little bit, because realistically, you're on the fronts of your feet a little bit more. And so it helps create more slickness, because what's on your heel, that makes it so you have to kind of, lean back on it a little bit. I don't want to lean back. I'm moving in a game. I want to be leaning forward a little bit and still catching the sliding piece. Right. And then even better, just so you know, this is important, is right here is rubber.
Right.
All right, so I want you guys to see this rubber, and I'm actually going to make this come a little thicker. So like I said, this is a sample. This was one to try. But what the purpose is that when you're leaning forward and sliding, if you go too far forward and you're losing your footing and it's coming behind you, that this actually kicks in and catches. It's a stopper. It creates that friction on the treadmill and will actually help you stop and not lose control. Regardless, even if you did lose control, that's why you're harnessed in. But anyway, I'm going to stop talking and we'll get in this in game. Just remember, lean forward,
all right.
Trust the machine, and it's going to feel strange at first, but I'm here to catch you.
All right. Well, I saw you last night using these, and I could definitely tell it's a way more intense run. Like you could go much faster and slide easier.
Right.
And that looks exciting, but I could definitely see that took more practice to get than the socks.
Absolutely. This is something, like I said, you get good with your socks, then you incorporate these in. I think that in some scenarios, I think like a Blade and Sorcery, I honestly prefer socks because you're jumping around and stabbing. I don't want anything really slick under my feet. I like being in my socks. But for games like Contractors and War Dust where I'm moving a lot, it's nice to have that motion where it helps imitate a more natural walk. Not natural, but more natural walk where your feet are moving under you. You have that slide where your feet are moving under you. And so for those games, I really like that feeling. Games like Gordon and Blade and Sorcery, it's literally all about jumping around and moving in quick stabbing motions.
So I imagine every game has its there's things about this that are going to work differently for each game. That's why I was saying it's a controller. It's not like a walking machine.
Absolutely. The treadmill is a controller. It's an accessory controller. You learn how to use your controller. Tell me the first time a PlayStation came out with the analog sticks, with the dual analog sticks. How many of you had to figure out how to look left and right and up and down without constantly staring at the sky? Because the first time I tried one of those is tough. You quickly learn your controller. Okay. And anyway, let's see how Ryan does this.
I feel like
this is where it comes in.
I will say you definitely need to hold on when you get on with these. I can already tell just from being on the floor.
All right, so
nice.
It's a little different, right?
I need to make an ice skating game. That would actually be a speed skating game on this?
It would be really
Where you
cool.
can lean forward?
Yeah.
That would be badass.
Lean forward and or I mean, I guess cross-country skiing wouldn't be that fun of a game.
Game for your dad. Cross-country skiing.
Fun for everyone.
I like cross-country.
We have something for everyone.
Oh, this, I put the headset here, now
So the headset is here. So what you can do if you do this, actually, I'm gonna make you do this yourself because you're gonna be at home. So this is a good training experience here. So now you have to use, there's a loaded spring loaded rather, in the back harness. I want you to go down a little bit.
Oh, I can
grab.
Right.
This is how I actually use the machine. Is I put my headset here.
Sorry.
No problem.
Nice.
Okay, so now you have this. Now let's see if you remember your steps. Alright, so he's tightening the headset.
Get my controllers. And I imagine it's good to always keep your controllers on the hooks so you don't mix them up. Like last night, I kept mixing up right and left, and you have to switch hands. And
Absolutely.
tighten it. Yeah, I'd say if you're a beginner with this, definitely wear the straps on your controllers. I might have thrown those a couple times. So. Okay, let me just try this.
Movement here. Wow. Okay.
Alright, so
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, you gotta really trust. It's all about trust. Like, I can see... So it should be tighter. Yeah, go ahead. It's all unlock. Right, that would be bad. Okay. Right.
If you're really comfortable with the machine, that's fine. Sometimes I'll leave this a little bit looser, so if I want to, I can jump a little bit more without it catching me as fast. But at the beginning, you want this to be tight.
Maybe even the belt part. Hold on.
And you want to cover the belt part. That's really the beginning.
Right.
Because it's holding that Velcro
Let me
up.
suck my gut in. Yo, it's like a girl walking by. All right. Yeah, that's good. Let me try that again.
Like, so just for your guys' sake watching, your natural movement is just to do that. But if you trust this machine and lean forward,
Oh, shh. Watch out. Someone's gonna get hurt. Well, yeah, okay, so I can... Right. I see when your foot gets back here what you're saying about the grip. Right. Now this is definitely harder to find my footstep with the sliders, but I can see that you would move much better.
it becomes easier to get that motion in.
Right.
Once you understand. Now, like I said, there's a learning curve with this. There's pros and cons to using these.
Oh, turning around is much better. Right, yeah. So getting out of the way and things is, I think, is going to be better. I'm not actually playing it. I'm just spinning around looking at my headless body. Yeah. No, I'm definitely not gonna look graceful, I can tell. Okay. If this is like, what's that game where you just like stroll through nature? Nature trail. This would be good for that. I'm just looking around, like walking through nature, this would work. If I'm playing like Blade and Sorcery, where you're not cruising all over, or one of these fighting games that you're close quarters, maybe like a little
Tiny
tiny.
movements just to get across. But this kind of game, or maybe like Skyrim, where you're going really far, I can definitely see you're gonna want to have a big fast. Okay, should I try?
Yes. So let's get in game. If any of you had difficulty hearing that, so I did see, Ryan, that we were using the Vive headset on that
For the whole time?
on that issue. So
Oh, no.
I do apologize on that one, but we can rediscuss some of the points on stream of how you feel.
After I guess.
Yep. So guys, we will go back over some of the things that we just said at the end here. But what I really just want to reiterate is that there's definitely a learning curve to using the shoe covers. There's pros and cons. I definitely think people should start with socks. The shoe covers do promote a lot of great things, such as quicker turning, because you're able to slide a little bit. You're able to have a better motion for movement for your feet. And so the cons is it does take a little bit of practice and experience with these to be comfortable to really get into it. And so these are Ryan's first time. This is Ryan's first time with the shoe covers on, and so I don't expect him to be great at this, but just to understand the concept and feeling, and I want him to relay, what he likes and does not like about it. Because some games I do just use my socks, like a Blade and Sorcery. I like the jumping around in Blade and Sorcery. We have to be quick, and I don't want to be slippery. But in games like Contractors and War Dust, where I'm traveling ground, I want that feeling. So we're gonna put Brian in the headset and let him kind of go over what he's feeling, and then we can rehash these points at the end. I'll also look at the chat to see what specific questions you have for either me or Ryan. So anyway, let's get to it. Ryan, I'm gonna
respawn.
All right, I'm gonna put you live here.
Right. I'm not a great aim. Who's the hell killing me? Oh, shit. Oh! I hit the button and my whole body fell, I felt like. Yeah, so what I'm feeling so far is, wow, the movement is way smoother. But it's definitely going to take a lot more getting used to keep that steady walking pace. Like I'm getting it now. Shit. Just go. Down. Where is he? Just... Oh, shit. Out of here. Oh. That was amazing. That was Shit. Oh, where is he? Yeah. Okay, so I see what you mean. I see. So Jake, because you maybe can't hear his. Where the hell? Oh, damn it. Jake's saying I should push my feet down more when I run, press into the base, and I get that. but it is a little harder to consider that when you're new at this. I definitely love the turning a lot more with these. I think when I get the running down a bit more, I would prefer these for this game. I like small footsteps. I mean, I'm not a tall guy, so maybe that's it. But these little small footsteps seem to work for me. It's just hard for me to get the smoothness right now. Get the fuck out of here. Oh, man, where? Okay, get the fuck out of here. All right. So I see... Oh, shit. Where do I get... Do I have to pick up more ammo in this game? Don't touch the pad. That's another thing. On the handle, it's very easy to forget and touch the pad. And it is all about rhythm. I lose my rhythm a little more with these because I'm not used to it. And then it moves a little more glitchy. Ah, shit. Go, 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 go. Get the fuck out of here. I'm surrounded. This is a much bigger learning curve than the socks. I would say I can easily tell how much better it will be once I would learn these. But when you're first starting, I think if you don't want to get frustrated, start with the socks, trust the machine, then go to these. Because I'm definitely not as confident to run, but the feeling is much better of smoothness. Where? Oh, sorry, George. I love how they fall to the ground. That's ridiculous. Oh, did I do that? Exit again. That's a good point to end there. Yeah. All right. No one wants to watch a guy who doesn't know how to play for too long.
Okay, so I realized that if you guys were watching, you know, a minute ago when we were explaining some things, that I still had the game on the background. You're probably hearing mostly the actual game noises and not us. So regardless, I wanted to sit and ask him some specific questions about, you know, the use and, you know, address some of these questions, concerns, strengths, weaknesses, how it could be better. You know, so I'll readdress that, and if you have any specific questions, definitely throw it up, and we'll take a look at it. Yes.
So the whole thing where sitting with the shoes wasn't heard, right? Putting the shoes on?
So I want to show. Bear me 1 second, guys. I'm just pulling up the chat. All right, Cherokee, yeah, man. So he did have the benefit of actually, you know, he was filming me last night on my stream. If you watched it, so he did see me using it and me coaching some people yesterday a little bit. So you know, he did have that benefit coming into this, but it was his first time on the machine. Sergio, yes, absolutely. This is his first time on the machine. I wanted him to explain. You know, and he's going to explain a little bit more of what he felt on it, the socks versus the shoe covers, some things for first-time users. Sometimes it's tough for me to explain personally because I use it regularly. It comes as common sense almost to me now. And, it's like when you ask, I'll give a perfect example. I was trying to water ski once, and, I was with a professional water skier. He's like, I don't know how to tell you, just get up and go. And that's kind of how I feel at this point a little bit because it comes normal to me, whereas I want him to explain some tips that that he can give you on what would work best for you as a new time user. And let me just address Ralph before we get started.
This mic's on?
Yeah, this mic's on this
I
time.
have stuff through the headset.
This this mic's that's this. I opened this up for the chat.
All right.
But Ralph, we actually next week you'll see I have a new rifle coming in. We're releasing it. It's called the Cat Striker, and that's going to be up and running for stream next week, I believe. So waiting on that to come in. Looking forward to it. Okay, enough with this. Let's see how you felt. So what are your thoughts?
First of all, I love it. I think it made it way more exciting for me to play. But I see when people, now I know this is probably, I've read some complaints people had. Like they just felt like, oh, I don't know how to do it, right? And they got on, I didn't know what to do. I think when you're concentrating on anything outside the game too much, you feel like it's distracting you from the game. So when I was in the socks, I very quickly got right into the game. I was lost because it was comfortable.
Right.
I could just get my steps down and I got it and I could move. And
Right.
The second time with the shoe covers wasn't as fun because I was thinking a lot more about it, but I could definitely see that it would be way more fun once you get comfortable with it.
Absolutely.
Because you feel that smooth movement of like turning and running at the same time, whereas I couldn't get that as good in the socks.
Right.
So the shoe covers are definitely like a slightly advanced level, but I imagine after a couple days of doing it.
And I think, just to revert back to what I was saying before is that, it's like a golf swing, and I'm using that just because I remember how awkward I thought I knew what I was doing when I was golfing, and then I learned the correct way to use a golf club, and I remember how strange it felt at first, but you quickly, after you use it a few times, you start feeling natural. It becomes a natural motion for you. And so I think that you're seeing a true first-timer with the shoe covers, and it is something that takes a little bit of experience, but it's something that you will quickly pick up. You start to learn to trust the shoes and the machine as that motion, and you can easily start moving around a little bit more. And I move pretty good on it, but look, I'm going to be honest. I'm a 240-pound guy that's not that graceful to begin with, and so you see how I can move. There's plenty of people out there that can use this so much better than me. And so,
but the thing with the socks, the rhythm came very naturally, easy. Like I felt because I watched people last night, and I kind of saw what worked on their feet.
and what didn't work.
What didn't work. So when I went to do it, I kind of already had the idea of the sliding movement and the rhythm. So because that is your real feet, like the way you use your feet. It's your feet are touching the surface.
Right.
It's just like roller skates or something, right? The first time you put them on, all of a sudden you're separating yourself from the ground and you're adding another surface between you and the ground that's
Right.
new and moves a little differently. So you don't just learn that right away, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would say if you're doing this, like get the rhythm down first, then work on advancing to that, because it was harder for me to keep that rhythm with the shoe covers. So
Yeah.
then I was moving more.
Yeah. And I mean, that's your point. I said it before, and let's reiterate it, is that big steps or small steps, people ask me all the time, how should my step look? That's all about your motion. What's comfortable for you, but it's the timing. Think of it as a wheel looking for a constant movement. This foot should be lifting as this foot's hitting. And I think that's something you don't think about. If you think too hard about it, it's not going to, let's see, what do you say, Ralph? Well, it's actually, you know, the socks do have friction, but you kind of are more on the balls of your feet. So, you know, that enables you to pull back quickly.
No, I think he's asking about how the deck works, right?
Oh, so what it is this giant touchpad. And so basically it is sensing your motion. Like I was just saying, it's looking for that constant movement of pulling back, which is pulling you forward. You know, so by timing it correctly, that's how you have that, you know, that constant movement without any stopping. And it's something that you don't want to think too hard about. You know, if you put too much thought into it, messes up. You just move like your feet normally do. You do it every day when you're walking in real life. You have one foot in front of the other.
And the deck has no friction sensing. It's all position tracking, right?
It's all correct. So it is all position tracking based off your weight. So it's weight distribution. And so no sensors are needed, as you saw, which is nice. You can use socks or shoes, but it keeps track of where the weight is being placed. It knows when one foot's in the middle and one foot's over here moving, and then it will constantly just keep track of how the weight is moving on it.
Is it weight or is it? Because I don't know. I'm no tech expert, but is it weight or is it using like laser sensors?
No, so actually these sensors are for the Vive headset.
No, I know, not these, but in the machine.
There are sensors, but it's being tracked off of the weight. So you can see it's not reading anything through this machine.
Right.
And so
there's something under there reading the distribution of weight?
There's some proprietary things happening under there that are not exactly disclosed to public use, but I think that what you should keep in mind is it keeps track of where you are based on the sensors underneath, knowing where you are based on your weight in the movement.
Right.
So.
But the socks and the shoes are working the same way. It's just different textures.
Exactly. Socks and shoes, basically the same thing, except for how it feels to you and how you're able to move your feet front and back.
Right.
And so, you know, I think that this was contractors. You know, obviously there's different games that we could try that, you know, it switches up your technique a little bit, but something that you get used to. I mean, you guys, you know, if you're gamers out there, then you know that there's no one game where everything's the same. Sometimes you're more comfortable ducking in certain games. Sometimes you want to be on foot running around in more games. And so you kind of tailor how you use this machine based on what you're looking to get out of it.
Right.
Ralph, it's very similar. I compare it to being the touchpad on a controller. It is essentially that. But that being said, you can't just touch the tip of it and move forward. So that won't actually trigger. You know, we do have it rigged up so that it has to actually be pulling in this back motion and the walking motion. It is a giant touchpad, but definitely not just to touch the tip.
Like I can't just reach down and touch it.
Exactly. It is, if you notice how you back up, you do put one foot in the middle and one foot in the back. That is an automatic back motion. We actually used to have it so you could backpedal and do a realistic back pedal, but we found that was maybe just a little too difficult. That's something that we can integrate later. The technology is there, but we found that getting people to learn how to walk first is much more important. And then, you know, backing up is automatic.
That would have been crazy to back up by actually moving your feet back.
Exactly. Walking forward is a little bit of a learning curve currently. At some point, as people get more comfortable with these and these things keep upgrading, it's easy for us to integrate a natural back step. But that just takes a lot more learning, and we'll cross that bridge when we get there. I think for right now, it's helpful to be able to move around and just be able to step back, to go backwards and get out of the situation, turn and run.
Right. And again, I think there's too much focus on the walking. Well, for this game, that's important. But I do, maybe after we finish the stream, give Blade and Sorcery another try.
Yeah, we can definitely.
Because I do want to feel this thing is super cool. This thing that supports you and turns. Mm-hmm. I think seems to be an important part of this machine as much as the walking.
You know, and just on this subject, because you're talking about, you know, this and how it spins.
And how smooth it is too.
You know, so it's so smooth. Like, as your body moves, this naturally just comes with it. It's not something that you think about. Somebody asked me how hard is the turning movement. I mean, I barely just touched it. It's made to move extremely easy. So as your body's turning, it's just naturally always behind you. It doesn't get in your arm's way. Some of our competitors have a ring around the waist and you can hit your hands on it, but this is made to always be behind you and supporting you with this piece right here, but it holds you to this piece, so you always feel like you're protected from behind as you're spinning. You always feel like you're secured and standing in an upright position, and that's important. You know, I even have some arcades that use these that even if the game doesn't require walking, if somebody's older or not comfortable with VR, they'll put them in this specifically just as a brace, so somebody doesn't get discombobulated and fall over. Or you don't have to worry about running into the wall because
that's pretty smart, actually.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it comes down to a safety thing, right? Because you can't go anywhere, you can't fall. So if somebody is feeling unsure about being in a headset, it just creates a safety aspect.
So that's actually because I've seen people like I went to a couple tech conventions and I've seen people at VR booths literally pass out or like fall down, not pass out, but like get so scared they jump to the ground because you know the experience is feels like the roller coaster ones, and that's why they started making them sit down, right?
Right.
But in general, like I could see this being a useful, just this device holding people, playing games that aren't needing that movement.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you know, there's a couple things that you get with this, and the safety part that we just talked about is definitely a piece of that, but also space. You know, I mean. Look, I'll be honest with you, the same space, guys, before I even knew what this thing was, when I was just a VR player, I would use this space right here as my area to play. And I'll tell you what, I have hit my hands on the closet door and things so often that what's nice for me is that this is now a dedicated space where I don't have to worry about my surroundings.
Although sometimes we will still hit things like I hit you. I think.
Yeah, hit me, but
I'm sorry about that.
It's okay. You can definitely, with anybody in a VR headset, watch how close you get to them. You might get hit in the head, which I did.
Last night when I was filming you, I was trying to get really close to get some cool shots, and I was like, any second he's gonna spin on this thing.
You never know. You never know. And maybe you can see through it, and it's just a good excuse to give somebody a nice little whack. Who knows? But, oops. But so let me ask you this too: is one of the things that is a common question is crouching and leaning to the ground to pick items up. Because we're promoting the fact that you can actually use this for many popular Steam VR games, many people are concerned with the functionality of, well, I like to lean down and to pick things up. I want to be able to sit. And so let me just ask you about your experience with the ability to do that.
Right. That was super cool. Being able to crouch behind stuff, like, again, I'm not super young and I'm not super athletic. And I'm playing another, the guy last night we were playing this game, he's a young guy, he plays VR. He was doing all these awesome moves on the ground in that game, and when I played, I fell over.
I think I had that on video, actually. He filmed me all day, so he was in a headset for... One of his first times, I got him playing super hot.
Yeah, keep that
falling over.
Keep that out of your live stream.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll talk to you guys later about that.
So, in this, when I wanted to reload, I only did it a couple times because I was a bit of a mess. But when I wanted to reload and I could crouch down behind those boxes and do that was really cool. I know you could do that regularly, but this gives you the support, so you're not going to tumble forward.
And so I think the point is that you're not losing that function.
Right.
I will address, because I want this to be as transparent as possible. My goal for this video is I want everyone to understand what this machine really is. It's a walking machine, absolutely, but I wanted to give people realistic expectations and a proper depiction of how it's used and what it can do. So, the one thing that you cannot do is go prone. And I want to address that. You can't lay down. And so there are games where maybe that's not your preference. I like Onward. But that's more of a hiding out kind of game, and a lot of people like to lay. That is one function that you don't have, but the added benefits of what you get with it, I think, far outweighs the fact that you can't lay down.
So wait, people are really laying down on the floor playing anything?
They're actually laying on the ground.
Oh, yeah, that sounds like too much effort for me to get up and down for that.
And you can honestly, if you guys wanted to, and you know that you're going to play a game that you want to be lower to the ground. Look at how low you can make this. You can actually lower your harness or keep it loose. So one thing that you can do is you can put your seatbelt on without the Velcro, keep it a little bit looser so it's holding you in. If you know that you're going to be on the ground a lot and you're comfortable with the machine, this is not something for beginners. I'm saying if you're comfortable with it, this will enable you to get pretty low.
Right.
So you can get way down there and the game will register it as you being basically laying down. So there are hacks that you can use to accomplish what you're trying to do.
Could you use the thumb controller just to lay down at that point?
If you do controller bindings, there's ways to rig it up. So, if you wanted to, there is ways for you to change controller bindings to rig up positions, but, that's a little bit more complex, so we won't get into all of that. If anyone has any specific questions, I'm happy to work with you on the side for that. The point is that you basically get everything with this except for the ability to lay down. Hold on, Ralph. Let's see here. Looking at a lot of past videos. Yeah, so Ralph, I didn't even address the fitness aspect of this because the one thing that I'm leery of is I want people to, I want gamers to not think that it's only going to be for a workout and that, some people don't want to work, that, don't want to work out versus, I don't want just the people that are interested in fitness to lose sight that it's also a gaming device. It's both. It's what you put in. I think Ryan actually showed you a couple different movements. If you want, you can hack it to put in less energy and still have a walking machine. You don't have to go as hard as I do on it.
Right.
So you can really get out of it what you want. Bend more, tighten your abs more, try to move faster in the games to get more of the fitness aspect of it. And so Ralph, you have been following me, and I appreciate the support, man. I'm down around 16 pounds, and I have to be honest, my diet has really been not great. And I'm still losing weight because I'm on this thing, burning 500, 600 calories a day, getting a couple miles in, just running out shooting people. And I could go longer than an hour, no problem, and be happy.
I will vouch his diet's not great. I've eaten with him 2 days now.
We ate pizza last night before the stream. My cover's blown here. So, my point is you get out of it what you want. It can absolutely be a fitness machine if you want it to be. And I think coming on with my streams going forward, I might actually start incorporating, leg and arm weights to just take it up a notch. And I do plan to actually do a little bit more dieting on this next half to take it a little bit more seriously in terms of that. But I've still been getting great results, even without that being a huge factor at play here. So you're on something sweating for a little while, which, I do have face masks, by the way, for those who are concerned with the sweating part.
Yeah. There's something else that I was a little surprised at when I first saw it in real life is that when I saw the videos and things, I didn't, and you told me it was going into arcades and things, I was like, this is not going to hold up,
Right.
This machine is not going to last.
Yep.
With all the people getting on and off. And we were at that place last night, and just in the time we were there on a rainy, nasty night, and there was in the time we were there, maybe 6 to 8 people used it. And I'm assuming they get way more than that on a nice day, and you said it was really full in there often.
Mm-hmm.
The machines actually works great. In fact, it worked. It looked like it worked a little better than yours for the.
It did. You might notice last night, if you're watching my stream, you'll notice that I squat a lot more in that game, and I'll tell you why. This is a machine that I have at my house that I've only really set up a little bit before my stream, and I use it 1 hour a day. Now, the ones at the arcade last night, because of the use, what's crazy is that I think it's actually better because the springs are more used to the up and down motion more so than on mine. So it was easier actually to get into the sit. Now, you can easily sit in this. I mean, you did it today. It definitely works, but theirs was actually smoother because of the constant use. So it actually inspired me to beat this thing up a little bit more on the spring. I'll go up and down a lot more, just trying to get it a little bit looser there because it was so easy for me just to pop into a squat with theirs. And so I think it actually worked a little bit better than mine. So that was great proof that it's built for heavy use here. I mean, they're really made for commercial use, so they do pretty well. Yeah, so Ralph, I squatted a lot last night, and I do feel it in my thighs today because I squatted more than usual. Usually I feel it in my calves because you're on, your feet in the forward motion a lot.
Right.
But I definitely feel it in my thighs today from all the squatting yesterday, which was a great realization for me moving forward with the whole fitness part of this.
Right.
And Ryan's familiar with this because he was taking some footage, so he knows my whole goals with the fitness side of things. And so I'm going to start incorporating more sitting, I think, and trying to sit more to get the legs more engaged.
And you certainly work up a sweat. I mean, that's for sure. I
Yeah.
mean, I didn't play long enough today, but it didn't take long last night for you to be sweating from doing this.
And you saw the face mask I use.
Right, right.
Which, we're optimizing. Do I have one handy here? Let's
I think I
see.
saw one over here for it.
There's one on the door. Let's just show these guys. So, some people ask about this. Thank you.
Yep.
And so the sweating in the headset. And I didn't put one on you today, but
I didn't think I was gonna sweat that much, and
yeah.
I thought that was.
So let me ask you this: you said you didn't think you're gonna sweat that much, but let me ask you: did it feel like a workout to you, like mentally?
Not mentally, physically too. I mean, absolutely. I mean, because we were doing 2 short rounds there.
Right.
I think, it's not like I'm gonna feel the burn later.
Right.
But I could tell if I would do that for even 20 minutes straight, that would be really good exercise. Like my legs were already getting a little tired, and
right.
I was starting to feel like the heart rate coming up. But that was only like 10 minutes.
And I guess the other side of it is what I'm really trying to get at. Did you find it difficult? Did you find it difficult to keep going forward? Like, I guess because in my experience, because it takes your mind off of the fact that you're moving, it's easy to keep pushing for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours without being fatigued to not be able to play the game.
Right. Yeah, that's harder for me to say because it was a shorter time, but I could see that. I could see once you're not thinking about the walking,
right,
and you're not thinking about how to play the game, like that's a brand new game for me.
Yeah.
And you're just playing, I could totally see getting into that.
So, I mean, that's what I find personally, guys. Once again, I realize that everybody's a little bit different. But for what I find is that when you're involved mentally into a game and you're running around chasing people, shooting them, you are getting that physical activity, but your mind is not thinking like, oh, I'm not sitting on a treadmill, walking or running and waiting for that timer to hit 0 so I can hop off. Because when I'm on a treadmill and let's just say I'm trying to run a mile, the minute it clicks over to 1 mile, I'm hitting stop or slowing down. Whereas this, I think it's pretty common. You see the timer goes off and I keep going for a couple minutes to finish the game, or or me complaining like, oh, I was just getting into it, because I actually find that your mind takes a whole nother road than thinking about the workout and is just more concerned about being involved in the game.
Yeah, I mean, this is true when you're doing any physical activity that's not about just doing the activity, about being physical, about actually accomplishing something or a goal. You don't think about the physical part.
And I agree. I just want to show you guys. So you do sweat. I know some people are concerned about the hygiene of sweating in the headset. So we've actually made this face mask. I know it looks goofy. I get it. I look like a clown right now. I understand that. We do have these coming to market, and I think I have this inside out actually, as you can see. But
it's cool, like a mohawk.
It is like a mohawk. I'm rocking the mohawk here, but you can see it's made perfect for. Let's get you the side angle here for the VR headset. So it will rest on here. It helps protect it a little bit. What I think we're going to do actually is I'm actually working on a couple new designs too. We'll cover the ears. So I'm trying to up the cool factor on this a little bit. I'll cover the ears and maybe add some designs to this to make it cooler. Because basically to walk around in it, if you take it off, it does look funny. But why do you need to wear it when you're not wearing a headset? So. But we're working on all that, but I just wanted to also point that out to you. I have you guys here. Ralph, the pistol units, you can see it's really meant for a Vive controller. This actually will just slide in and out if I loosen this. So it's really, it's something that's available on twistedrealityarvr.com. We do have them in stock in New Jersey. And there's also a rifle that's just coming to market that I'm working on getting as well and bringing to the U.S. So it is something that's overseas, and it's a brand new cat product, the Cat Striker. This is called the Cat Fire. And so we're bringing some of those in, and I'll be live streaming with it. I'm waiting on it to come in any day now, but we'll have that up and going, I would say, next week for sure. So it sounds like overall, you thought it was a positive experience versus versus
Oh yeah.
the thumb pad. And
Well, it's interesting. I forgot. I kind of wanted to play a little bit after with the thumb pad again
right.
to get the feeling. Because I feel like, it's hard when you did it one day and then you do this the next. But I feel like if I go back to the thumb pad after playing, especially contractors, because I'm not like very experienced with it, I don't think I'd want to go back to the thumb pad to feel like I'm just standing there moving and shit,
Right.
The idea of having my body engaged.
Well, it's kind of like once you've opened your eyes up to what you can do,
Right.
it's hard to go backwards.
Right.
That's how I feel too. And, I think that so many people focus on the fact that this isn't a completely natural footstep, that they let it deter them from enjoying how cool it is that you can actually use your feet to move.
Right.
I mean, that's pretty amazing. If you guys think about where gaming has come, that the fact that you can now physically move your legs and move in a game, I think that that's just amazing. And so a lot of people harp on the fact that it's not a completely natural walk, but you're gaining so much from it.
That just seems stupid to me. Even before I tried it, people worrying about, is it real walking?
Yeah.
It's not real life. I mean,
Yeah.
You're in another world having another virtual experience of a whole new experience that
Right.
you've not had. That's the point of playing games, right? To
Right.
experience something different. So why would everything work in the exact way that it works here? Would
Yep.
it be, and that's what I was saying before, I think it's far more about it's engaging your whole body, because that's how we feel like movement is real.
Right.
Not that the movement is the same, but that it's real.
Yeah.
Real in that world.
Right.
You know?
Right. And so, look, I think we hit on all the points, and now's a good time to chime in if you have any specific questions that wasn't addressed. It's something that also I'll point out that it is pricey. I know a lot of people ask me about the price. Look, you don't have to have one in your home. We're putting these a lot in public areas. We're actually in the middle of starting this really cool V Sports League, and so while I have you here, being your first time, do you think that this is something that would be cool for, let's just say, contractors to do a 3v3, 4v4, 5v5 team play situation?
Yeah, if everyone is on these,
It would be fair.
it would be super cool. It would look cool. I mean, I'm a video maker. I'm a visual person. If I watch someone playing VR for a while, I lose interest, like watching people play. I mean, I know esports are big, but I've not been someone who wants to sit watching people play games when they're sitting down doing nothing.
Right.
But if someone's actually up and moving and turning, and you can match the turns in the game to the turns on the machine, which is I'm trying to do for Jake's video I'm working with him on, so you can really see that connection. That's far more exciting,
Right.
in my opinion, as someone who's not.
Well, it takes it to another depth in terms of, it's a whole different strategy to actually be a soldier rather than sitting on a couch with your analog sticks. I mean, do you get the feeling of actually being the soldier in this?
Definitely, for the amount of time I played, you definitely get a higher stakes feeling.
Right.
Like, you definitely get the feeling that you're in danger more than just
Right.
running around with the sticks. So that's immersive. That's what you're trying to do.
Right. Absolutely. And so, what we're working on right now is a 3v3, 4v4, 5v5 V Sports League.
Mm-hmm.
We're calling that, it's the first active esports league, for virtual reality. So we're trying to get this V Sports League going. We have a handful of establishments already committed. And so I think that's something that you guys should look into. If you can't afford one for your home use, you can definitely come out and give it a shot. I think that going a little bit about how to use it walking wise will increase your experience. I think a lot of people go to establishments and maybe the staff's not educated and they get on it for their first time. They don't really know what they're doing, but if you have somewhat of an understanding of what to do and what to expect, I think that it helps your performance. I do see some people are let down by undereducated staff or staff that's not properly telling them what to do once they get in the headset,
Right.
and it creates for a bad experience. But you absolutely can achieve a pretty good feeling walk in this. But so Ralph is asking me what price point these are in for home use. And so Ralph, it is a bit pricey. It is $39.99, and I preface that knowing that that's a bit for residential users. Our common market is really the DoD for training simulations, or training simulations for a lot of different sectors and industries. We do a lot with amusement parks, VR arcades, so a lot of enterprise and commercial outlets. But we try our best to make it affordable for home users by offering a third-party $130 a month payment plan. And so, you know what? I mean, if you're going to be using this all the time, I think that $130 a month is way more doable. And over time, prices will drop like most tech. How much was a 4K TV when it came out? Over the years, prices will drop. For many, they're willing to wait. For many, they want the experience now. And so we definitely do our best to get it in a better range. We do run promos for our viewers. So always stay tuned for the different promos we have running. We give away a lot of freebies and discounts off that.
That place last night was $30
for the day.
For the day to go play. So, and you get to play like 10-minute bursts?
Yeah, and so it's like 10-15 minute experiences, because the game that's played is really not meant to be like a hardcore game like Contractors. It's more meant for first time users to get the experience.
But if someone has a local VR place, they go more than 5 times a month, then that's already less.
Look, I mean, in my opinion, it could be biased, obviously, given the situation. But like I said, transparency is what I'm all about here. Is that I think for me, if you can get something that you're going to use all the time to game, and especially if you're using it for a fitness aspect on top of it, it's well worth $130 a month in my eyes. But it's something that you should definitely pursue at a local establishment if that's just not a possibility for you. Give it a shot. Think about maybe grabbing some friends and joining a league. It's going to be a lot of fun to have some bragging rights to have like a five-man league where you're the A team going around and killing everybody else.
The future of bowling teams.
And Ralph's just saying he paid under $3K for a treadmill alone. And Ralph, I bet you that treadmill has become kind of a coat hanger at this point. So like most people, the treadmills get neglected. But that's because who wants to use the treadmill for the most part? Sure, those people out there that love CrossFit, those nuts that love to work out and can't wait to get on the treadmill, they exist, I realize that. But for most people, they get a treadmill with the idea that they're going to use it, and usually they have to talk themselves into using it, and it falls to the side once their inhibitions are down, they lose motivation. When your exercise becomes going into hundreds of different possibilities of game content and going to have fun, it no longer is looked at as a workout. It's a gaming session that you're getting benefits from. And I only go on stream for 1 hour, but I think that most gamers will probably be at using this for a couple hours on regular.
I saw your feed of all the different games you play too. There's a lot of different ones. How many games do you play personally on this?
So I think so far I've streamed with about 30 games.
Holy crap.
I tend to play a couple of them more than others. And I'm just touching the tip of the iceberg here, guys. I mean, there's so many games out there. I try to address some of the popular games that I know people play, just so they can see it being played. The obvious downside is that is a lot of times because I don't want to be on stream off camera much because of trying to keep true to the 1 hour a day. You see me learning on camera, which playing a lot of different games for the first times, I'm not getting good at any one, which is why I always revert back to War Dust, which is one of my favorites, which I'm obviously much better. If you saw me last night playing Contractors, definitely wasn't an awesome performance. I was a little disappointed with that. And for those that watched, sorry I wasn't more entertaining in that regard. But there's just like an endless possibility of what you can play with this, so it keeps it exciting. So yeah, I think that
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. Like if you look at it like a treadmill replacement for your treadmill, you like a treadmill, it just gets boring, repetitive. Even
Yeah.
if you have some kind of there's some interactive things now in treadmills. That's crazy that you could play a new game every day while getting your exercise. That's nuts.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's been fun for me just to go through. I've had a good excuse to try a lot of games that I haven't tried before. Even like the Forest, I got really sucked into that one night. I think we streamed for 3 or 4 hours, and I felt okay with that because it was a low energy workout or game rather. So I just got super sucked into it. I probably would never have thought to play that game, and just by streaming and wanting to show different content, I'm seeing some of these cool games that are out there, and there's just so much breadth of different options and different styles, sword fighting and all sorts of things. Yeah, man. Yeah. So 2 3 hours, I think that's a pretty normal gaming session, man. Most people are gonna spend 2 3 hours on this, and honestly, once I'm done with this 90-day challenge, I'll probably be running more dust for 2 or 3 hours. Probably at nighttime when my wife's asleep and my life's can come to a stop. Right now my life's been pretty hectic, which is actually a great point. Is that I've been looking forward to my 1 hour gaming sessions that I've carved out for myself instead of dreading a 1 hour session at the gym because I can easily say, oh, I'm too busy to go to the gym today. I'm like looking forward to my 1 hour that I set to the side to get on this thing to have fun.
Right. Yeah, it's good to make make a project or something that's the fun thing to do, or make
Yeah.
like you challenged yourself for 90 days, but then now you're realizing, oh, that's actually the fun thing I do every day.
Exactly. And what's cool about doing this with you here is that he's helping me with these videos. So and this is a new, somewhat new, working with me. We've done a couple things now, but he's going to actually be around for the final results to be able to see it all come to life.
Right.
And so he's going to be monitoring some of these videos and helping me edit it all together. And so I'm glad that you were able to get on this and have some fun with it, so you can now see what it does.
Right.
So Eric, it is on my website right now for $39.99, which there is a promo I'm running right now for live streamers. We do give $250 off, free shipping, free shoe covers. We're giving away these gun attachments for free. We're actually even giving a wire rack away for free. We're also offering a $130 a month payment plan through a third party Klarna. And so that's us trying to do the best we can to make it more attainable for home users. Obviously residential use is still somewhat limited at the price point. Over the years it will drop, as we mentioned, but we try to make it possible for you guys now because it's really an awesome experience. Once you get on these things and get used to using it and get comfortable with it, it's really hard to go back to using just a regular touchpad. Anyway, yeah, guys, this has been great. I hope this was helpful for you. I really wanted, let's just, before we get off, I just wanted to say, I think the one thing I want to take away from here is, rather than focusing on how to walk and what style to walk, I think the key word we want to take away here that I heard Ryan say is rhythm. Is there any just general pointers before we get off?
Rhythm and trust. I think this is trusting the machine to support you, trusting the machine to be there when you make a movement, to move with you,
Right.
when you turn, and then finding the rhythm of your walk. I think those were the two things that the reason I was able to do it fairly quickly with my socks is because last night I noticed that.
Right.
People trying it, when I was observing them,
Be able to see what was working, what's not.
right, they didn't trust because it was new to them and no one.
So they stood straight like a board.
Right, no one told them to trust it. And I don't think
Right.
people think of this and rhythm. They were just trying to take a
Awkward step.
and that didn't move them. So then they didn't really. Then once they watched a few people, I noticed the third guy, he got
Right.
it because he had already watched two.
He
of
figured
them.
it out, right? And then also, guys, as you can tell, whoever's watches my streams knows that I'm very open and approachable. So you can always reach out to me. I'm always happy to help and give some advice. And you can see I have one in my home. So for many people, I've even set up a video chat and walk them through a couple things. But All right, guys. Well, we are going to get back to life, and we got some things to do today. We got some editing to do. So if you have any more questions that we haven't addressed, definitely send me a direct message on any of my social media handles or via email, info@twistedrealityarvr.com. Ralph, Eric, thanks for all the questions, and Ryan, I really appreciate you letting us use you as a guinea pig today.
It was fun.
Yeah, I'm glad you had some fun doing it in the meantime.
Yep.
All right, guys. Well, have a great day, and I will be on streaming later. I probably will be on late tonight because I'm noticing it's already 2. Once again, for those who follow me know that I go to a coding boot camp right now at Rutgers, and so we have class today coming up at 6, and we still have a lot of work to do here. So I'll probably get on later around 10 o'clock, 10:30 tonight. And I'll probably keep it simple and play some War Dust tonight and have some fun. But, all right, guys, have a good one. Take care.